Hey guys, so I had originally this past weekend started filming just like another weekend vlog. I didn't have a whole lot going on art-wise other than I did start actually. I started an illustration that I was gonna do and I've gotten like halfway through it. I haven't finished it yet. It still needs a lot of work to it. But I started filming that, but otherwise it was kind of a slow weekend, not much artsy stuff going on. We did have a very nice brunch. The weather was really nice. It's starting to get really warm here and I can comfortably go out in shorts again. And I had primarily needed to stop at Michael's. I haven't been to this local Michael's since we've moved here, and I was actually oddly surprised at how nice it was. It was one of the better Michael's I think I've ever been in. But even then, I'm not really a huge fan of the chain stores because there's not a whole lot of, variety. They're kind of getting away with your other art supplies, and they're kind of just sticking with their own name brand stuff, which is kind of like junky. But I did purchase a couple of things that I needed. So primarily, these are just like replacement things that I already needed. So I needed some extra Pitt Artist pens. I needed some extra ink. My other ink didn't quite survive the move. It's kind of drying up. So I needed some more ink. The Copic white ink is pretty good. This is good for like star splatters and sprinkles and stuff like that. I also needed more masking fluid. So I got some of that because I ran out of this before we moved. I just haven't replaced it yet. So I needed more masking fluid. The only other kind of weird random thing that I got was I was kind of looking at maybe sometime in the future buying one of those big bulky like swirl brushes. But I did find this one. This isn't a big bulky one, but I do kind of like fine tips. And I think the Gouache brand is a reputable enough brand that I got this just to try it out, see how it worked. And that was my intention anyway. That was all I had planned on purchasing, but stuff has kind of gone awry. I got some more stuff. So while I was out at Michael's, I was looking at the Five Below store, which was right next door, and I was like, no, I don't need anything from Five Below. I already own everything that I feel like I could possibly need. But then somebody later that day let me know that Five Below actually has a jelly gouache dupe. And I was like, dang it, I missed my opportunity to go get it. So I had to wait till my next day off. So now we're like days in the future. I got the jelly gouache from Five Below. I love Terrible Art Supplies. I don't have my jelly gouaches anymore. I gave them away to my niece and nephew before we moved. So we'll experience this together and see what this is like. I fully expect for it to be terrible, not live up to the Mia Himi brand. But I was just really excited to get that. So I had to run out today to go get it. While I was there, they also had some other fun stuff there too. Everything at Five Below that's art-wise has been terrible. But they had like some metallic watercolors and some chameleon watercolors. I didn't get anything else but this though, except I got it. My husband is like, we don't need any more mugs. But I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna put this in my computer crafty room. And we'll just put some more art stuff in it. Because I have way too many mugs. But look how cute that is. Okay. Anyway, while I was waiting for my next day off to come around in the in-between days so I could go out to go get this, I had come across a YouTube video. And again, I'm very, what's that word? I'm very influenced. Yes, the influencers influence me pretty good. And I came across I don't even know what the video was about, to be honest. I don't know who made it. I don't know what, but it was talking about the Davinci watercolors, and they were talking about how opaque they were. So I ordered some, and I haven't opened these yet. Move this out of the way. So this kind of turned into an accidental art haul. I didn't mean to do this. It just happened. And these came in the mail so fast. It was almost like a 24-hour delivery. I wasn't expecting these to get here for a couple of weeks, but I ordered them and then magically they appeared. So now I have all of these paints to play with. But the Davinci, what had happened in the YouTube video was they were talking about just, yes, how opaque the watercolors were. And the colors were actually pretty nice in this person's YouTube video. I think I ordered the same ones that they had, but I don't even remember anymore what I watched. But it just intrigued me. And then the Davinci website also have, like, their tubes come in sets. So this was like was this a spring set? I'm not really sure, but it was kind of, again, pastel-y, because I have this thing for pastel colors. And I was like, oh, I need to try out a different brand of pastel colors. So I got them. I don't think that all of this was all that expensive. I really don't think I've ever played with Davinci paints before. I've heard of them for sure, but I don't know that much about them. So yeah, these are kind of like fun, springy colors. Look how pretty. Okay. So this is nice because it's got Naples yellow, peach. I love anything that's lavender and mint, and then a nice extra blue color. And I think this one is also supposed to be, did I get, this one's Naples yellow, this one's Naples yellow deep. So this one is just another, comes with like lilac. In the video, from what I remember, these also seem to be, oh, look how interesting those look. Let me make sure. There's like an extra, is there like an extra color? Or did that one just fall out? What this, and this one's in there crooked. Interesting. They're like interesting texture. Usually when you get these like palette pan things, the pre-made half pans have that domed shape to them. And these ones are kind of like interestingly flat and smooth. So I mean, I've used these quite a bit, but usually half pans have like this domed effect to them. These ones do not. This is a very interesting, look how shiny that is. Kind of looks like candy. So yes, so now instead of working on my illustration, now I think we're just gonna end up playing with a bunch of more art supplies that I didn't need. I'm a little bit conflicted because again, I like to use tan paper, but somebody before had told me that they wished that I just used white paper. So I may just play with these on just plain old white paper, but I do still want to know how opaque they are on the tan paper because that's primarily what I use. So I don't think we're gonna actually do any sort of illustration. We're just gonna kind of quickly swatch things and see where that goes. If I don't take shortcuts and edit this, this is going to be the longest video in the world because there's so many different paints here to swatch. But I'm going to start with the Davinci ones because these look like they're more, you know, professional type of watercolors. But we're going to swatch these out, but I don't think I'm going to show you the swatching. I think I'll just show you what they look like dried just for the sake of time. Okay, no, these are lovely. I think I remember what I was doing when I came across this video on these paints. So what it was I have been loving these paints so much. I keep showing them the past few videos, but I really want more colors of these, like on the same like color scope, color range of these. And I know that this brand makes like they've got like a pearlescent one. They've got darker colors, and I was trying to decide if I wanted the darker colors. And I was just kind of like, because I still kind of want like colors. I don't necessarily want the darker colors. I was trying to look up reviews on these on YouTube, and somehow I came across these. And I think some of these colors are very similar to the ones that were on the Boku Undo sets. And they said that this was a opaque watercolor, and then plus with the addition of some of the pastels like the lavender, and then also like the Naples yellow and the raw sienna. Those are colors that I use for like my lions and stuff. So I was like, yes. I was like, pastel colors kind of similar to the Boku Undo sets, but also colors that I routinely use. I was like, let me give this a try. And then when I went to their website to look to see if they had this set, I also discovered that they had this whatever the spring set was. So that's how I came across that. It was totally spur of the moment. I was like, I saw it, I need it, let's get it. So that's that first set. Absolutely loving some of these colors actually. Those are very pretty. Like these are the watercolor confections, my Martini ones and the Kusakabe ones. You can kind of see how smooth that is in comparison. Even the Turner ones look kind of dirty. That's probably just the way I swatched it. But look how smooth those are. Okay, now I'm gonna continue swatching. Just because the amount of pressure that these tubes are under, like all that paint comes out. So I kind of had to make a lot bigger swatches so I don't waste paint, but we're still gonna end up wasting a little bit of paint. So those are nice. One of these days, I'm gonna try and redo my watercolor palette, and I'm gonna use the little micro painters, because really watercolor goes kind of a long way, and I have so many paints that I want to play with that I keep forgetting about because I own so many. It's a first world problem. But those are, they're nice paints. I think that I like them. I'm pretty happy with that purchase. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna skip ahead now. I gotta open this creature. Well, let me get everything tossed to the side. And just like traditional jelly gouache, we gotta take the stupid wrappers off of them. Oh, I hate that. Oh yeah, that's why I don't like using these too much. So just for the record, there's no way to easily open these things, and I'm not a messy person and I hate getting messy, and the paint got like all over my fingers and stuff. I had to go wash my hands. But yeah, that could look aesthetically more pleasing, but that's as good as I could do getting that film off of there. I'm not complaining, and of course I knew this was gonna happen because everything from Five Below is terrible. So it's not a complaint. I was totally expecting this. But it's just funny. I love terrible art supplies. This is not gouache. I don't know what this is, but it kind of reminds me of when you try to mix like baking powder and water, or like flour and water to make like a roux for your soup or whatever, to thicken it up. Because this is not gouache. For one thing, it does not reactivate like at all. This does not move. None of this moves. There's no layering. You cannot layer colors on top of one another. I tried to make a simple gradient just with the pink and the purple, and the two colors, they do not mix. You cannot layer on top of each other. You cannot activate to blend into one another. I tried to layer white on top to make like some clouds, and you can't see it, but I tried to add peach on top to make like a moon, and it does not work. These colors do not layer. The paint just does not. It's like not water soluble paint. It does not agree with the water. But straight out of the tub, it's very, very weak color. And that's with a dry brush. That's not even like diluted down with water. That's just straight out of the tub. So very weak. It's just not, it's not gouache. Just for like an example, this is my old sketchbook from years ago when I was first learning how to paint. So like this is jelly gouache, okay? You can blend the colors, you can create a gradient, you can add colors on top. That's kind of why gouache is so forgiving. If you make a mistake, you could just add more colors on top and just keep layering, or you can erase it by adding water. It's very forgiving, very like newbie friendly. So that is like the jelly gouache. This is jelly gouache. This is jelly gouache. That is not jelly gouache. That is ridiculously, hilariously bad. I really don't know what oh my gosh, it clumps up. It's not, I just rinsed this out, but it clumps up. If you try to rinse your brush in water, does that not kind of look like, again, like flour? It reminds me of when you're mixing flour and water together and you just get this squiggly, icky mess. And the paint will just also kind of float around in the water. And again, I just kind of rinsed that out. But I don't know, that's too light of a color, the peach, but it just creates like clumps of almost powder in the water. So it's terrible. It's hilariously terrible. This is not a usable product. You could not make anything with this product. I don't know what you could do. Even if you were just to, I don't think you could use this on wood. I don't think you could use this on anything. It just literally doesn't do anything. It's worse than toothpaste. So don't get this. It's hilariously bad. I mean, unless you just want to laugh at it because it's that bad. Again, I'm not surprised. I'm not really judging because I knew this was going to happen. But yeah, so anyways, that was a fun experiment. There's literally nothing that you can do with it. Oh my gosh, it is just so bad. This is terrible. So yes, if you want to play with jelly gouache, please just stick with the tried and true, the Mia Himi brand. But that's all. I have to go because this video is going to be terribly long if I don't. I will see you guys the next time, and hopefully with an actual like completed illustration this time. Bye-bye.